Stone Paxton Music and Life, welcome to my channel. For all those that are not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like, and also make sure you hit that bell to get the notifications for all my latest videos. Janet going spiritual on us, Meech.
Mm-hmm.
That's that buy. That's a good buy.
All right, welcome to Enterprising People. I'm Kimberly Bailey Toureau. So happy that you joined us on this beautiful Tuesday. It's going to be warm out there, so please stay cool. Speaking of cool, we're going to talk about our cool sponsors that sponsor Enterprising People each and every week. That's the Southern Nevada Water Authority, Las Vegas Clark County Library District, SilverStateClub.com. If you want quality, low-cost dental care, you don't have dental insurance, this is the place to go. SilverStateClub.com. Power 88 KCEP and Black Image Magazine. I'm so happy we finished another issue, and I'm so excited. We had the opportunity to meet and talk to Bob Marley's daughter, pick up the June issue, and we're celebrating our fathers in the June issue 2025 of Las Vegas Black Image Magazine. Now, without any further ado, I'm so excited we have, because you know, June is Black Music Month. I don't know if people know that, because so often we don't hear the celebration like I used to hear, especially when I wrote for Jack the Rapper and BRE and all of the music publications that were really, you know, on the one back in the 80s and the 90s, right, Stone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Back in that time. But my brother Stone Paxton is here, and he is the producer extraordinaire of just so many wonderful musical songs, and he's doing so many great things, and we're celebrating Stone Paxton and his team Meech and Vanna here today for Black Music Month. June is Black Music Month, so that's what we're doing today. But Stone, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Listen, I'm finally hanging with you, so I'm cool.
You cool? Okay. That's what I told you. I said it's just a relaxed situation. We just talked.
Yeah, man.
But we got a lot to talk about. We were talking a little bit about all the synergy we have in the music industry, people that I've represented, people that you know and you produced for, and it's really phenomenal. But give everyone your backstory of what you know, how you really came up.
You know, I'm when it comes to that, I kind of shy off, and I try not to talk about myself, but my history goes way back. And just to shorten it up and speed it up a little bit, my first start was the group I was with called Tream, and we were managed by Dick Scott Entertainment.
Wow.
Our first experience was on tour with the New Kids on the Block. It was one of the most incredible situations. I gave the New Kids on the Block's manager a demo. I lied and said it was me. I lied and said it was a group. But it was me singing and producing everything, and that was the beginning of everything for me in the music industry. And what's so weird is hearing you talk about the BRE, because when I say that now, it's like a foreign language to the young generation with music now. I say BRE, and they're like, what's that, right?
Yeah.
And Jack the Rapper, they're like, what's that?
I know.
But that's where I first met Tupac.
Okay.
And so, you know, Demetrius and I having a history with Pac, but I met Pac at the BRE conference in Washington, D.C. when Puffy first premiered that he was going to sign Biggie. It was called the Young Guns Conference. Anybody that's listening to this will remember that conference, because Babyface had on a bright green jacket sitting behind me that he wore for 3 days. I think he was working on an album or something.
Yeah.
He wore that jacket for 3 days. Fab from Milli Vanilli was sitting behind me. Him and I became good friends. And then Craig Mack was standing in the door.
I interviewed Craig Mack.
Oh, wasn't he an incredible guy?
He was incredible, yeah.
He was an amazing guy, you know what I mean? So when I think about that, I didn't realize, like now, past tense, that was a very historical moment. I had
Yeah.
no idea that I was actually part of history just by being there.
Yeah. BRE, that's Black Radio Exclusive. That was the publication. I wrote for it for about 5 years when I lived in Los Angeles. David Mitchell actually lives here
Yeah,
now.
right.
And
When you
he
said
was
it,
the
I'm like,
editor
yeah,
of the
we need to get him
publication.
to start that back.
Yeah. David's got some stuff under his hat. He's in Vegas now. But it's so good to see so many people that familiar faces and people
Yes.
that we have familiar stories
Yeah.
because of the many people that we've worked with. But you're an artist as well as a
Yes.
producer, and you've done some extraordinary music.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
want to
you.
thank you for my podcast music that you
Thank you.
did.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
come on, we gotta
Come
get Miss Kim right.
Yeah, you can't be right. So I'm very excited about that. But that's what it's about, is that collaboration and working. And so just let's talk about some of the people that you've actually worked with.
Yes. So me being and once again, this is where the relationship with Meech and I also bridge because being a part of a production company called Grand Jury Entertainment, which the CEO was Michael Conception. We were privy to be able to work with everybody. Right. Remixes for, Teddy Riley, Blackstreet, Bryan Adams, Ginger Spice, Britney Spears, and the list goes on. The list goes on. And so many people but that was a conducive list of producers. There was like, how many? Like 5 of us, Meech? About 5 producers, and we all worked together collectively, separately, but then would come together, mesh together, with the ideas and stuff. So having that experience is what really molded me as a producer, because back then, for all the producers that might be listening, when you would do remixes, they would just give you vocals. There was no music to it.
So you had to do the music part.
You had to figure it out what
huh?
was happening with it. And if you didn't, you wasn't going to have a job. Because literally they would deliver a DAT tape, and the only thing on that would be the vocals, because they would give it to you before the record even came out.
Wow. And I know that at Meech, you've performed with and worked with so many people. You've mentioned Bobby Brown. You've mentioned Tupac. But tell us a little bit of your backstory. I want people to understand who's in the room today. So, Meech, give us a little backstory on yourself.
Same thing as Stone, Grand
The
Jury.
mic, talking about, okay.
Same thing. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Same thing with Stone, Grand Jury. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to the big tree that fell from that branch, which is TDE, Top Dog, and the greatest show on earth right now. Kendrick Lamar says it. But yeah, with Mike, and man, everybody started coming through. Wow. I immediately tapped into Warner Brothers, and I did a kid group. And Benny Medina was kind of like...
Ernie Singleton lives here now.
I know, Uncle Ernie.
Ernie's here too.
Oh,
trust me, that's where I know you from.
Yeah, okay.
I saw Ernie get on town too.
Okay.
But then from there, and I got a call to go work with Teddy Riley.
And Teddy lives here too. Doesn't he live here now?
Yeah, he's coming back.
Oh, he's coming back.
He's in Texas right now.
And then what was it? I got my first hit on Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown, yeah.
Yeah, so what happened?
What hit was that? Which one was that?
That's the Way Love Is.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Okay, Meech. Well, that's so exciting because, I talk about this all the time, especially with my sons that might not be familiar with the BRE, like you said, Stone, or the Jack the Rapper, or just our music, because our music is... I mean, the music, even past, in the 70s and the 80s, that music still sustains today.
Yes,
because what they're doing, they're just, what do they call, sampling it?
They're sampling it now.
Remaking it.
And but not doing it as good as it was done before. They trying.
They trying. I know. But I tell people that the music that we hear right now, I don't know if we'll be listening to that music 20 years from now. I don't know.
Yeah,
what do you think makes that different?
That's a great statement.
Well, what's the difference? I mean, will I bring up, I bring up the Isley Brothers? I don't know if I'll bring up anyone else in 10, 15 years. Or even, so what's missing with today's music?
This is a conversation we were just having. Today's music, what's missing is we had band in high school. We had band. We had a music appreciation. Even if you weren't in band, they had the accordion in school. That little everybody hated the accordion class, right?
Yeah.
But we also had our parents introducing us to the best music ever made.
Yes.
That's no longer happening.
Right.
Nobody's doing that anymore. So I was saying in our podcast, when you take out the music that's connected to the community, what do you have?
I know.
Hispanics are not about to take away their traditional music.
No. Da 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 da
The-
da da.
I
You
wanna
would
say
get
what I
that.
think
Come
is
on.
missing.
Yeah.
I wanna
They're
say
not.
what I think's missing.
Yeah. What do you say, man?
The music was an escape, not to put you in circumstances. Don't put me in some unpleasant situation.
Right.
Right.
Take me to where you think I should be, somewhere pleasant, somewhere beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
Teach us
Like
how
we
to
were
love.
talking about
Teach us
last
how
night.
to love. Teach us how to get along.
Yes.
Yeah, what's
Absolutely.
going on? You know, because I could still hear Marvin throughout my house.
Still relevant
My
to the
dad
day.
sang with Count Basie, and
Wow.
he came up with Dizzy Gillespie. You know,
Ooh.
so they come out of
Mr.
the
Ray.
Brooklyn, yeah, the Brooklyn, New York,
Yeah.
the Harlem Renaissance.
Wow.
So when you and see that legacy, even to this day, the Miles Davis, you could still hear that music.
Yes.
You know, I'll
Yes.
post something because I remember it reminds me of my childhood to listen to that music. Not to say I do love many of the artists of today. I love what Kendrick is doing. I love what people are doing creatively, but I'm just not sure we'll be putting on his album or listening to his.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know.
Well, it'll be a collective.
It's
It'll be
monumental for hip hop.
Okay.
Right.
And it's monumental to a point where hip hop became the number one genre.
Right.
Over
Right.
rock and roll.
Because it was connect. I talked to KRS-One, and when I talked to him, he does. He you know, when he talks in the poetic form that he talks, you know, when he talks about music, he talks about that coming to that soul.
Yeah.
And I think that soul, the Earth, Wind, and Fires, and it's because it's just iconic. And I know that I'll still be listening to that, but
Yeah.
I don't know as we celebrate Black Music Month for the month of June. Listen, if you want to talk, we will talk back. Give us a call, 702-647-3688.
That's right.
That's 702-647-3688. And we're here with artists, producers, Stone Paxton and Meech.
And Demetri Ship.
Yes.
And Vanna N.
Yeah, Vanna.
Cambodia Mystique not here, but the crew.
Yes. Well, you know, this is my area. You know,
Yeah.
I know this is my area. Because I'm telling you that without music, where would we be? Where would we be?
Okay,
Stone?
somebody's gonna bite my concept, but I'm gonna say it. I was trying not to say it, and I try not to say it on YouTube when we talk. But think about this. I was going to put. Maybe I shouldn't even mention it.
No, go. Now you let it out. You got to say
I was
it.
going to, and I'm in the process of doing this documentary called A Day Without Music. This is copyright, by the way, y'all. That's why I'm saying it live.
Okay.
A Day Without Music. Imagine. Let's just erase the radio, turn them off, no music at home, and then let's see how the day manages.
How you go?
It's not going to be the same for nobody.
For nobody. Now, what do you think about with present day Spotify, Apple Music, how it's changed? You know, because I used to get the albums. I used to go to Larry Sight and Sound down
She's
here.
She's hitting on things that we talk. She's hitting on things we talk about. That's why this is deep.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what will it be memorable?
Yeah.
When you hear music and the power and influence of music for the first time in our era, we're already overloaded with the best music. But you got to remember, the babies behind us are not.
Yes.
Okay.
So not only they have their own music, but they're rediscovering our music for the first time.
Absolutely.
And so that love is so pure and genuine.
Because they can't deny it. When I play music for my 20-year-old son, and he says, "Mom, that sounds good." I said, "You know that's good. Make you feel good too." All right, we got a caller on the line. Caller, go right ahead. What's your business? Hello. Hey. It's going good. What's happening? Who's calling? Hey.
Yeah, it's definitely not so.
Yeah.
It's programming.
Mm-hmm.
They do. That's true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Feel your way through, because that's what it's about. When you feel that spirit, it just runs through the entire body. That's what
Yes.
Stone. I really look
Yeah.
forward to seeing your
Yeah.
documentary, because
Yeah.
that's going to really let people know how important it. Because we don't have music appreciation anymore in
We
schools.
don't.
We don't
We
have,
don't.
you know. But I think as parents, especially for our culture, we have to keep the music alive within our households. We have to go out back and get that music and expose our children, because when you tap into your creativity, that is really shows you your passion, which leads you to your purpose. Is that right?
That is right on point. And it's crazy that you say that, because we're in the age of narcissism, number one, right? But at the same time, mental health is also so prevalent now. So music actually does more for people than people realize. And speaking of mental health, Vanna has a lot of background in mental health with her, dealing with a lot of people and counseling people in that sector. But the connection with music and mental health, people have no idea. Some of the things that possibly would have happened in life probably didn't happen because somebody turned on some music.
That's right.
Right? You agree with that, Vanna?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and there is a form of the music therapy. I know people that go through music therapy to make them feel better, because so often, and we're dealing with a lot of negatives, especially the political environment. Can't turn on the news without hearing the man with the red wig on. It's just you're just listening to all of this constant the age of division where we're dividing.
Yeah. The chief and commander.
Yes, the chief and commander.
Show some respect.
Yeah.
Put some respect on this.
I can't do it, Meech. That's another conversation.
Well,
Me and you would have.
but that's a bad example.
I know, but I know, but at the same time, right is right and wrong is wrong,
Yes.
and I think you can't blur those lines.
Yeah, Biden
you
was
cannot
terrible.
blur.
Yeah,
You
Biden
can't.
was
You
terrible.
okay? We're gonna get into this conversation.
Biden-
So you were saying, so you said mental health.
I'm not gonna
You
talk to
said
me.
mental health, the therapy, because you do therapy with kids, Vanna.
Well, I work with a lot of families, especially in the Southeast Asian,
Uh-huh.
especially in the Southeast Asian community.
Yes.
I'm not a clinical psychologist, but I do work with mental health. Back in Stockton, California, do a lot of
Okay.
interpreting for the family, connect with
Yes.
the referrals and all that. So what I learned in my community is that, because all of us went through so many step in life where will cause some sort of turmoils and the breakings. And for me, I went through war and the killings and the Holocaust and the ethnic cleansing through my country, and I have to fled to a few countries to get here. So I am here. I have to get educated, and that have to go through the mental health turmoils where the language have to set in, the cultures transitions and the settlements and adaptations and all the whole nutshell.
And how important is music to mental health?
Okay,
From
so
you as a professional.
as working with the family, mental health does relying on music, because music bring memories, bring the emotion. For me, I'm used to the Khmer song, the Thai song about the love, the sadness, and all the heartbreakings, and then it take me a little bit to get used to the R&B, the pop, and the rap here in America. I have to get used. Why it's not ringing in my ear? No, I'm not doing that until I met Stone, I met Meech, and then I began to appreciate the new version, the new type of music that we produce here in America. Now I can see that this music now influence throughout the countries. I mean, throughout the world. I just recently visit Thailand and Cambodia.
Wow.
To my surprise, kids are not listening to those sad songs that replay the melodies anymore. They're not into rapping. They was like having joys where they're
it's
not
poetic.
It is.
And when people are trying to find out about Americans, especially Black Americans or urban or living in our, they hear those stories embedded in the rap music. So it's chronicling exactly how people truly live. And so if you listen closely, you could hear just a lot. But Stone, I wanted to get to, because I know that you talking about Stone. I can't help but think about Angie Stone that unfortunately passed on. And I know that you had a very close relationship with her. And there's been some controversies and stuff. But what is your take on all that has been going on, especially on social media, about Angie Stone's death and everything?
Yeah, I will say this. I think Angie put me up to a task I didn't realize was going to be my task.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last thing she said to me, and I haven't even said this on social media. I'm trying not to get emotional while I'm saying it. But,
Okay.
she said to me, if nothing works out, I love you. Tell your brother, Masai, I love him and I love you guys. And if nothing, and I didn't know why she said this,
Mm-hmm.
but it confused me. And I was like, there were people in my studio and, sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. It's okay. It's all right, Stone. That's how you feel it. And again, we're talking about Angie Stone. She's unfortunately she passed on, and very tight, very good friend of Stone Paxton's. And you wrote music for her. You did a lot of wonderful things. But you know what? Her music lives on, Stone.
Yes, it does.
And her words. I interviewed her before.
And I'm sorry.
That's good.
You know,
You
it's
don't
just
have to apologize for that. You know, this is an authentic show. This is an authentic show,
Yes,
and it's real. And I think those emotions are real, and we have to feel them as they come, because you know, I when you don't feel, you can't really do anything.
Right.
If you don't feel, but you feel it, and it means a lot. Here's
Thank
a
you,
tissue,
baby.
yeah. But we miss Angie Stone. Her music will live on forever. Do you
Yeah.
plan on keeping her music, especially the music you did with her? You plan on keeping that going?
I didn't. Here's the crazy part.
Okay.
I didn't get the privilege of actually producing any music with her. We
Okay.
were talking about working on a new album.
Oh, the new album.
My brother and
Okay.
I and Meech, we were all going to do music for her.
Yes.
We were handling her residency, setting that up for Vegas. We were literally a week out before she passed away.
Okay.
And we were recovering all of her money that was owed to her.
Oh.
And it was a lot of money.
It
You know
was
what I
a
mean?
lot.
It was a lot of money. And just discovered a lot of things that were happening that she didn't know. Angie trusted everybody.
Right. Because her heart. Yeah.
She trusted everybody.
Right, her heart. And you know, we just saw on the news how Taylor Swift got back all her masters.
Mm-hmm.
She bought it back.
Yeah,
For
she
what,
did. Yeah.
$300
We
billion?
talked about that last night. Yeah.
But what would you say to people now that are making their music? Like there's a lot of young people making their own music. They put it out there through the internet. No longer do we have the real record companies, with the R&B department, the pop department. Now everything technology has kind of taken over. But it's good for independent music, maybe.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
Learn the business.
Okay.
I mean, we're looking at Salt and Pepper and, them trying to get the ownership of their catalog back to copyright.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't realize when they were younger, they wanted to be in the business. They wanted to be stars. People flash the money and the opportunity in your face, and people get excited. Right. And it's a possibility that the agreements they signed earlier were work for hire, and they had no idea that's what they did. Mm-hmm. So I say to the young artists, you're going to be older than you are younger. Learn the business so that you can stay in this business.
Right.
That is the real. It doesn't matter how great your music is. You could take whack music and marketing it correct, and it can last.
Right.
So learn the business.
Right. Definitely. And that's why I did Business of the Music for many years, showing people. And I would bring in people like Bootsy Collins and George Duke and people from ASCAP, BMI, to because people have to understand how you get paid.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you want sustainability. But Stone, we were going to close out because we're, it's only, I could talk to you guys for hours. But again, it's Black Music Month in June. So let's celebrate this, keep the music alive in our homes,
keep it alive,
and expose our legacy. But Stone, what would you like to say, before we get off the air here?
What I'd like to say is every artist has somebody that has helped them. Las Vegas knows me very well. Anybody hearing this radio station would tell you I go way back when it comes to hip hop and R&B and putting groups together. I put a lot of artists together from Vegas, starting with Neo, Gleeka One, and tons of other artists. Don't ever forget the people that were behind you. Every artist has somebody behind you. You can't tell the story when they say, what's your beginning, without telling the truth of the beginning. So love the people that help you. But most importantly, make sure you always mention those people that have given you your start.
Right. Do not do that. No. So we got to, that you said it, full, because people do, sometimes they have short memories and we don't want to do that. Meech, Stone, Paxton, Vonna, thank you so much for coming. And you guys have to come back. Because all
absolutely.
month is June. You know,
we're here.
and even after June, we have to keep, even in our dialogue about the music. And we're going to bring some of your music on because I want people to hear your music. Yes. Again, we want to stand by. Donald Marquez is coming up, but we want to thank the Southern Nevada Water Authority, Las Vegas Clark County Library District, SilverStateClub.com for your dental care, affordable quality dental care, Power 88 KCP, Las Vegas Black Image Magazine, and you too for being enterprising people.
Oh, don't make me cry. I have to take that off.
Oh, let me give you one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a hard time really talking about.
But that's, you're a creative, so the, you know, it hits your soul. You know, I get that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's the people that I talk to, they have no emotion. I'm like, oh, let me get away from them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on, we have to get out.